voice mod is one of the worst applications you can put on your device. Voice mod is truly a miserable experience to use. I am here. How are you doing? I am the real life fake wizard. Welcome back to another Sunday afternoon stream. I hope you can all hear me now. How awkward and unprofessional this is. I gotta say, the whole streaming thing just becomes more and more complicated. Like it does become more and more. You need more programs, you need more apps, you need more adapters, you need more this, you need more that, and it's like I just wish I could just turn it on and we start going, right? Turn it on and we start talking. That's what we want to do. That's what we should be able to do. So right now, no, the voice mod application has entirely crashed. So all the sound effects that I've got there, boop, gone. My little sound, but my stream deck here is kind of useless now as far as voice mod is concerned. Absolute waste of software, by the way, my friends. Voice mod is truly terrible. It's a terrible application. But that's okay, because we are going to jump right into today's topics. We got some awesome stuff ahead of us. Some awesome stuff to talk through. We had D23 this weekend, which means we got a whole bunch of new announcements right out of the Mouse House. The Walt Disney Company has told us all of the things that they are working on. We're going to go through a lot of those. That includes the parks. That includes the new films that are upcoming. I'm going to talk about some of the films that I have seen most recently. I've been trying to pick up doing movie review content. That has been quite a bit of fun to do. We're going to talk about some of those and some input on there. We're going to talk about the popcorn buckets. That's really fun. I've actually got some here we're going to look at, which is really interesting talking point there. We're going to talk video games. There's been some announcements about video games that are on their way that happen to be a little downgraded to run and be sold to more people. We're going to talk about that's very interesting. We are going to talk about that. And so let's get into it. I want to welcome you all in. I see a lot of familiar faces. Let's go ahead and jump over to the coffee house. Go ahead and transition, get you guys here up on screen. And so this is going to be great. We have got quite a bunch of things to get through. So I'm going to start pulling them up. Let's go ahead right through the top. D23 this weekend. We saw a number of announcements come out of D23, the first being their animation. So we're getting new animated films from Disney. So I'm going to go through the list I've got here. Moana 2 is the first one that we see here. Moana 2, for those that don't know, is originally Moana 2 was going to just be a Disney Plus show. Disney Plus was going to get a Moana series. And what happened is they realized that this was going to be so expensive to make that they decided to just turn it into a movie. So Moana 2 is just going to be 3 episodes of this would-be Disney Plus show, but they're going to run it like it's a movie. We got a trailer. We got the first trailer from Moana 2 this weekend. Now, I actually have not seen the first one. I have not seen the first Moana. I don't know if you have. I know it's very popular amongst the young folks. But as you could see from my beard here, I'm not one of the youngest folks anymore. So Moana 2 has not been. It's not my cup of tea. So I haven't really seen it. I haven't watched it. I think the last animated Disney animation film that I saw in theaters was Frozen back in 2013. I think that was the last one. Because I haven't even seen Frozen 2 all the way through. I haven't even seen Frozen 2 from start to finish. And I guess that makes kind of sense because it's not for me. Like, I'm not the target audience for that. And that's okay. But for those of you that would be interested in Moana 2, just be aware that this is probably going to be slapped together as fast as they can. So don't have expectations very high for Moana 2 because they are cranking through making this film as fast as possible. And as I said, it was originally going to be a series. We've seen movies that do that before. Disney does this particularly over the last 20 or so years. Sometimes they do that where originally it was a show and then they cram it into a movie. Most of those times have been direct to DVD. Doesn't really work out too well. So Moana 2 is going to be one of those. What else they announced? Moving into the live action Snow White. We finally got a teaser trailer for the upcoming Rachel Zegler Snow White. I don't know, folks. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Now, for those of you who may or may not know, Rachel Zegler has been on record seemingly trashing her own movie unknowingly, saying that that this is not 1937 anymore, and they created a Snow White that was going to be a little bit more modern for the modern audience, right? And so Snow White is for the modern audience. Now, look, like I said before, Moana was not for me. The Little Mermaid is not something that I would have gone to see because it's not something that I would be interested in. It's not made for me, right? Snow White is not made for me. I'm aware of that. That's okay. This wizard, is not the target audience for Snow White. But that being said, who is the target audience for Snow White? You know, I would think that for something that's going to cost this much, and I'll explain why in a minute, you're going to need to attract as many people as possible to want to see this, right? So with that being said, and also trying to make sure that you hit that demographic that it's for kids and that families are going to want to see it. If we look back on Little Mermaid did not break even at the box office. It didn't, as far as we know financially, the Little Mermaid live action didn't break even until it was well into streaming. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good for these Disney live action films. Now, Snow White has more baggage. Little Mermaid had baggage because people were ranting and raving that Ariel was played by that other girl, Bailey. Was played by Bailey, right? Her name is something Bailey. I don't remember her name. Halle Bailey. That's it. Everybody was ranting that Ariel was played by Halle Bailey. I don't think there was a problem with that. The movie should be 90 minutes and it was stretched out to 2 hours. It was filled with more songs that were really difficult to listen to that just weren't good. And Melissa McCarthy, anything she's in doesn't perform very well financially. Something to keep in mind. But yes, so we had the Little Mermaid didn't do very well. And then we look at Snow White. Now, Snow White has had some issues because you've had the cast on record saying stupid things about the movie that is making the Disney super fans all upset. And this has nothing to do with like the fandom menace or people like me who rant about Star Wars. It's the Disney fans now are upset that Rachel Zegler has trashed the movie. Okay, well then the movie had to undergo serious reshoots. And here we are now, where the movie is anticipated to cost around $300 million to make. This is Indiana Jones money. This is Captain America, Brave New World money. You're going to need to break $1 billion just to make money on a movie like this. Okay. Over the weekend, let's break away from the Disney stuff for just a second, right? I want to talk about, this is a good time to segue into Borderlands because we're on the topic of box office and money. When you hear that a movie cost, let's just say $100 million to make, that does not include the marketing budget, my friends. That just means to get the MP4 file. Okay. That just means to get the MP4 file, we've got to, we're going to go ahead and block that until I can investigate further. Interesting. When you hear a movie say that it cost $100 million to make, That means it costs that much for the actors, for the cameras, for the crew, for the locations, to make the film, for the editing. Making the film was $100 million. That does not include how much it would cost to market the thing. That doesn't include marketing. It also doesn't take into account the amount of money that theaters are going to get as a cut of the box office ticket sales. So this is something to be aware of, right? So when you hear a movie cost $100 million, it's like, well, wait a second. No, it didn't. It actually needs to make significantly more than that to make money, to be profitable. And so you've got companies like Disney, you've got companies like Warner Brothers, you've got companies like Sony that are making films, investing that arbitrary $100 million to make said movie, right? But for them to break even and then report back to their stockholders, a lot of tickets have to be sold. So keep that in mind. So when you have something like Snow White here, or you have something like Borderlands this weekend, we can talk about that. And Borderlands did cost $100 million to make, anywhere between 100 to 120 from what we're being told, financially speaking. If that's how much it's costing to make, then that movie needs to make around $300 million to break even at the box office, because the theaters need to get their cut and you need to account for how much marketing spend you've got. So that means you're not making money until it's after $300 million. So these are things to keep in mind. So going into it, if things like Snow White were $300 as the $300,000, $300 million, good Lord, $300 million on the foundation, you got to think it's going to be incredibly difficult to break even with a movie like that. And Snow White has a lot of trouble. I think this movie's gonna suffer. I think the trailer doesn't look very good. I think the Seven Dwarves CGI, they are going to be spending countless hours and really pushing their CG people to get that working better, to get that looking cleaner. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. I think we're well away from seeing the final version of this Snow White live action film. And also keep in mind, like, that was supposed to come out this year. Snow White was supposed to come out this year, and they stopped and started doing lots of reshoots after the backlash to change things. So we have fundamentally a completely different movie than what was supposed to be released this year. So keep that in mind on Snow White. Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch. And all we got from Lilo and Stitch was a teaser of Stitch jumping out of the logo and talking, well, swearing. He's swearing. Stitch is swearing. If you've seen the original cartoon film, I have a sweet spot for Lilo and Stitch. I'm excited for Lilo and Stitch. This is going to be hopefully good. My expectations are tempered because it's Disney, so I don't have very high expectations. But I think they nailed the live action Stitch design. He doesn't look terrifying. You would think that making Stitch look live action would be terrifying, but this ain't too bad. This ain't too bad. I'm gonna see if I could share my screen here, because I could show you and talk through all together. Let's see if this works. Seems I have too many tabs open on my computer, and it's Google Chrome is really not too great. Let's see. Okay, so we've got Snow White, we've got Stitch, and then we've got Incredibles 3. Here's a good question before we continue. Why do we need live action movies of these animated Disney movies? Money. So, why do we need these live action remakes, right? What's the point of doing all of these, like, live action Maleficents and Sleeping Beauties and Cinderellas and Lion Kings? Like, why do we need these live actions? Well, we don't need them at all. But here's the thing. Disney no longer does the 2D animation. but they still want to use those properties that were 2D animated hundreds of years ago at this point. They're very old. These movies are old. They're also outdated in terms of how Disney views the messaging in those films. So, for instance, we talk about Snow White. Actually, I just shared my screen. I'm just going to stop sharing for now so I can finish this talking point. Snow White. Well, the actress has been on record saying that she doesn't believe that the messaging behind Snow White is accurate to current day with the being saved by the prince narrative. Okay, so they need to remake it, but they're not going to remake it in 3D because they want to keep the aesthetic of 2D. So how better to keep that than to just, well, you know what, we'll just make it live action. And then we'll replicate the costumes and the attire of everything then. That's why. It's for money. It's so that they don't have to make new things. Because here's something Disney doesn't like. As you just saw with my screen share up, you saw that Incredibles 3 has been announced. There's nothing original here. There are no original films in the Disney pipeline. Everything is a sequel or a remake. And you're going to see that with the parks too. When we talk about the parks for very briefly, everything that's coming is very simple. It's to try to compete with Epic Universe, and it's not going to do nearly as well. Like Universal is going to eat their lunch. Universal is going to eat Disney's lunch when it comes to the parks, because that Epic Universe park is 5 unique parks that was announced in 2019, and they're sticking the landing for opening day. 5 years to date to launch a brand new park is pretty massive, especially when you see everything else with Disney parks, like the Tiana's Splash Mountain replacement constantly has breaking down issues. But we'll get to the parks in a second. But the whole idea of why are they making those movies? It's money. It's money. They're trying to make more money off of things that are not new, because new is risky, new is dangerous, new does not always mean a return on investment. So that's something you got to keep in mind. Kal-El, no. It's funny because if you know that film, if you know the Justice League film, you can hear Gal Gadot saying that and how she says it in that voice. Okay, let's get back into this. I'm going to share my screen again. Incredibles 3 announcement. Okay, Incredibles 3 was announced at D23 as well. I didn't particularly care for the second one. That's just my opinion. The first one is good. It's a good movie. It's rewatchable. It's one of those classic Pixar films. It's disappointing to me that we couldn't just leave it alone. Like, you have to keep digging this up. You have to keep bringing back the past. And this is just another one of these examples. Like, if we scroll down here, I bet we're going to see Toy Story 5 next, as we do. Yep, here we go. Toy Story 5. Why do we need this? Well, we don't, but Disney does. Disney needs to make money. And so they know people are going to go see Toy Story 5. Here's the thing with Toy Story 5. You want to do another Toy Story? Fine. Okay, that's cool. I got no problem with doing Toy Story. Don't end it on one of those big, like, final farewell finales, okay? Because you did that with you did that with Toy Story 3. You did that with Toy Story 4, where you ended the movies on these, like, grandiose farewell finales, going away, no more Toy Story. And every time those are immediately outdone by the next sequel. So Toy Story 3, Andy gives the toys away. It's supposed to be this good send-off. You don't have to come back. Then we have Toy Story 4, which ends on Woody leaving the group, and it's this big farewell finale. Now you're doing Toy Story 5. The first thing you see is Woody's back with the team again. It's like, so these movies don't really matter as anymore. Like the content of the emotional moments of each film don't really matter. You're just going to bring it back. You're just going to get the team back together anyway. You want an example? You want a good example? Spider-Man, Spider-Man: No Way Home ends with everybody forgetting that Peter Parker existed. Right? Everybody forgets that Peter Parker existed. They forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Okay. The final scene is he's saying goodbye to MJ. He's saying goodbye to Zendaya. All right, that's fine. But that immediately becomes valueless when you realize that if they make another Spider-Man film, they're going to outdo or undo, rather, they're going to undo that emotional moment instantly. Instantly. So the whole point of having this emotional goodbye between Peter and MJ means friggin' nothing when in the next film you're going to completely undo it. So it's the same thing with Toy Story 4 here. For Woody to leave, and for it to be an emotional moment only for you to just undo it in the next film. At the beginning of the next film, the first 20 minutes, they're going to get the band back together. It's like, okay, well, what was the point of being emotionally invested in the past? And the answer is there is none. So let's pull this back up. Frozen 3. Now, all right, you want to talk about Frozen 3? I did not. Somebody said this to me in passing. I think it was my brother. My brother said, "Hey, did you see they announced Frozen 3 as well?" And I thought they already announced that. This doesn't seem like it's such a big deal, right? Like it's Frozen 3. Yeah, that was a given. The first one broke box office records. The second one did just as well. Like Frozen makes lots of money. So of course they're going to do a Frozen 3. I don't have a problem with that. I like trilogies. I don't have problems with trilogies. You want to do things to be a trilogy? Okay, that's fine. And I feel like Frozen has never slowed down. Like the first one came out, you knew they were getting a second one, and you kind of knew they were getting the third. So when you compare Frozen 3 to something like Incredibles 3, Incredibles came out in 2004. The first Incredibles movie is 20 years old. If not older. I think I called it right. I think it is 2004. Somebody can spot check me on that. When did the Incredibles come out? Because I'm pretty sure it's 2004. And okay, well, Michael, this is a great question. This is a great question. How much story do they have to tell, though? That's the problem. They really don't. They spread themselves so thin that these movies feel so thin. They feel you. I'm going to talk about this when I start talking about the movie reviews that I've been doing, because you could, if you ask questions about the plot, if you start to poke holes into the plot of movies today, the plot immediately falls apart. The movie immediately falls apart. The movies immediately fall apart. The plot now on films are just so paper thin. It is so paper thin. Yes! October 24th, 2024. I got it. I was right. 20 years. 20 years for The Incredibles this year. That's wild. It's wild. So yes, Frozen 3. We knew it was going to be a Frozen 3. Zootopia 2. I saw the first one. I enjoyed the first one. I saw it in theaters too. I saw Zootopia in theaters, and I enjoyed it very much. But I do not think there's enough story there to do any more Zootopia films. I thought it had a pretty good premise, pretty good story, but there's nothing else to do there. Like there's nothing else to do there unless you're going to continue into that story of racism with animals, because that's really what the movie was. The movie's about prejudice, but with animals. And it tells a really good story in itself in that film. There's nothing else to do there. I don't know why they're making Zootopia 2, other than it made money and we need to make sequels. Elio has been floating around for a while. I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about Elio, but that's one of the only things that's new. This is one of the only new things from Pixar. And we got Zootopia 2. And now we get away from the Disney. What is wrong with this? What is wrong with this? Mashable.com. Mashable.com glitching out on me. Absolutely unbelievable. I wish things would just work. Okay, we were right here. I don't want to talk about Star Wars yet. Let's talk about the Marvel stuff. Bring my screen back up. Hopefully it's not glitching out again. Unbelievable how these things just stop working. Okay. Let's talk Marvel. Okay. Now, Marvel has got some very interesting things going on right now. Okay. You've had this major announcement of Robert Downey Jr. returning to MCU as Doom. You've got the Captain America Brave New World on its way. You've got the Fantastic Four is on its way. You've got Deadpool and Wolverine just made $1 billion this weekend, broke $1 billion. It's good things, right? Everybody wants the MCU to, the MCU is making a comeback, folks. The MCU is making a comeback. I don't know if it is. I think it's too early to tell. I think we're not out the woodwork yet. There are rumors from Chris Gore at Film Threat that he has connections on the inside, and that we've seen there's a changing of the guard at Marvel, and that there's all new creators there, all new teams making this stuff. Like, I hope so. I hope so, just simply on the business premise of it didn't work. What the MCU Phase 4 is an embarrassment. The MCU Phase 4 is an embarrassment. When you have an embarrassing thing in corporate, in business, in any business, those people should be removed. Those people should be fired. And you should bring in new people who are going to lead a little bit better. So what's coming out after Deadpool and Wolverine? Well, let's take a look. The first we've got Agatha All Along. Now, my friends, I can't play the trailer. There's only one trailer I'm gonna try to play today, and we'll get to that later on. And it's not Disney. Agatha All Along does not look like a good movie. It does not look like a good film. I'm sorry. It does not look like a good show. It does not look like a good show. It looks like this is still part of the what we'll call the Victoria Alonso era of production at Marvel. Now, for those of you who don't know, Victoria Alonso was one of the head representatives at Marvel who was let go around the time of Quantumania. Now, while she was there, she was part of the lead in a lot of these projects, a lot of the Disney Plus projects, a lot of the Phase 4 films that just didn't work. She had a part in being part of the leadership team on. This is part of her administration, right? Agatha All Along is connected to WandaVision, which I didn't like. It's connected to Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which I don't like. But the problem here is I want to like all of those, okay? Agatha Harkness in the comic books is sometimes an antagonist, sometimes a mentor, but definitely part of like the witch magic world of the Marvel comics. And the thing is, I don't remember the name of who's. Let's see if it says here who's. Catherine Hahn. I like Catherine Hahn. I think Catherine Hahn could do a very good job with something like this. However, the writing is terrible. The writing is terrible. Here, I want to pull this up because this was a really good comment. Which popped away. Where did it go? I just saw. Just BKZ here. Agatha All Along is for the gays like me, which is fine. I like this sentiment because there should be media like that, right? There should be media like that you could see representation in, right? So I'm okay with that. But that's not an excuse for dog shit writing, right? So on one hand, it's like, yeah, that's fine that you see there's a project here that's for you. I'm cool with that. But on the other hand, the writing should be better than the schlocky nonsense crap that we're getting, right? So like it should be good. You deserve for that to be good writing. Just like Ironheart deserves to be good writing, just like anything deserves to have good writing, and it doesn't. And so that's the problem. That's the problem. It has nothing to do with the idea that Wiccan is gay in this show. And yes, Wiccan is gay in the comic books. Wiccan is a very interesting character that at sometimes has very good writing. Wiccan and Speed are the two brothers, the twins, who are referenced in this show. But all the shows deserve to have good writing, and in this case, they seemingly don't. Now, I am jumping the gun here, but I am comparing it to WandaVision, which was awful. And I'm comparing it to Multiverse of Madness, which was awful. Okay. Everything that they did to the Scarlet Witch character, to the Wanda Maximoff character in between that show and that film are antithetical to the arc that character has experienced through the Avengers and through the Avengers films. So I really am not happy with how those things played out, because I for those of you who don't know, I'm an X-Men super fan, and so I really like Wanda Maximoff. I like the Scarlet Witch a lot. I love the X-Men quite a bit. It's my original introduction into comic books. So I really, and I prefer when, there's been retcons here, retcons there, retcons here, retcons there. What I really like is when we've got the story of the twins, Pietro and Wanda, being the children of Magneto. That's the world that I like. I prefer it when the twins are the children of Magneto. And then, of course, you've got Polaris there as one of the children of Magneto. And I know that's been retcons many times over, but my headcanon will remain that they are the kids of Magneto. And so in a lot of ways, I was always like kind of disappointed we never had the true Magneto connection to the Avengers Scarlet Witch. But even then, they turned this Scarlet Witch, who, remember, for those of you who don't know, in the comic books, the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were originally villains. They were bad guys. That's okay. And then they've come around, and then they've been bad guys again. But they join the Avengers, so they're always present on the Avengers team in some places. Then they're bad guys again, and so that was the idea of the Avengers 2: Age of Ultron film, where we got to see them as bad guys before they become good guys. And I like that we got to see that. Flashing forward, right? So you got to think, Wanda Maximoff has experienced all of the Avengers films, working with Captain America, taking the side of Captain America in Civil War, and then flash forward to the WandaVision show where she enslaves an entire town to live out a fake reality. That's messed up. And then they just forgive her for it. And you think that she's learned something from doing that horrible thing, which maybe you could say it was like an accident, or she didn't realize how hard or how bad it would be, but even though she did know, right? And then we cut into Multiverse of Madness. Oh, no, she'll just straight up murder everybody now to get her kids. That's not consistent with the character development we've experienced over the last nearly 10 years. It's not consistent, and I don't like it at all. So when we look at Agatha All Along, it's like, I don't care for it, but we are going to watch it, and we are going to review it fairly on this channel when it comes out. We are going to review it fairly when it comes out. Because here's the thing. I want to be wrong. I want this to be really good. I want this to be really good. I know it won't be, but I want it to be good. Here, I'll point it here. I want this to be damn good and blow my mind. Okay? I'd rather it be good, because it's easier for me to come on and rant about good things. That's what I want to do. I want to rant about good things. But I've been watching lots of movies and shows lately, and they're all shit. They're all shit. They're all not that great. A lot of the movies, the reviews, videos that I've been doing over the last week have just been like just okay enough to be okay. They're not great though, and that's not good. So anyway, Agatha All Along, we will be covering it here. Fantastic Four First Steps snippet. I don't really want to get into this because firstly, we've already talked about most of this already in previous streams. I don't want to waste any more time with it. Time will tell. I think this movie has a lot of baggage, and we'll see how they do. We will see how they do. It's nice that we're getting a comic accurate Ben Grimm, The Thing. It's going to be interesting, but we shall see. And Daredevil Born Again. Look, Daredevil had an amazing 3 seasons on Netflix. Daredevil had an amazing 3 seasons, with the 3rd season being a kind of almost perfect finale to that iteration of Daredevil. Since then, since Netflix, they have brought the Kingpin back twice. They have walloped on him twice. They have defeated him twice since Netflix. And they've brought Daredevil back twice as well. The first time to emasculate him and make him do a walk of shame in She-Hulk. And then the second time for a single fight in the Echo show, which ends anticlimactically. Echo ends with defeating the Kingpin. Hawkeye ends with defeating the Kingpin. You know, here's a character that was played outstandingly by Vincent D'Onofrio in the Netflix show, who now it doesn't seem like a threat anymore. He doesn't seem like a threat anymore. So you're hyping up this Daredevil Born Again, which, by the way, is the storyline from Daredevil season 3. Born Again is what Daredevil 3 was. It's a comic book run, and you bring it back again, and what are they going to do? Beat Kingpin again? He's going to lose 5 times in a row. The character and the actor and the audience deserve better than this. Kingpin, the character, deserves better than this. Vincent D'Onofrio, for the level of performance he's bringing to it, deserves better writing than this. And you, the audience, that pay for this shit, deserve better than this. It's a little early to tell, but they got to nail it. Daredevil Born Again needs to blow it out of the park. Now, I know it's gone through lots of reshoots. It's been rewritten a bunch of times. They've basically reshot the entire show. And that's a good thing, because they really need to stick the landing on this. The execution here is so important. So important. Avatar 3 is now Avatar Fire and Ash. Avatar is going to do what Avatar is going to do. I have not seen Avatar 2. I saw Avatar 1 in theaters when it first came out. I don't really care. We'll see. It's all right. James Cameron is going to do what James Cameron is going to do. All right, here we go. The best movie announcement they could have made. Freaky Friday 2 is now Freakier Friday. I will watch this, mostly because I have fond memories of seeing the original when I was a kid. So I was forced to watch it when I was a kid. I had cousins that were girls, and my sister, and they were all, and I was kind of forced to watch some of their Freaky Fridays, the High School Musicals. And then I liked High School Musical. All right, here we go. Let's talk Tron Ares here. Now, Tron Ares is a couple years too late. And look, I will say I'm a very big fan of Tron. I'm a very big fan of Tron Legacy, although even in the original film, like in the original viewing of Tron Legacy, for me, I was devastated at the end of the film when Jeff Bridges seemingly dies. Like, Jeff Bridges dies at the end of Tron Legacy. And then I was hopeful. I was truly hopeful that there would be like something on like the Blu-ray disc that reveals he's still alive. Like, there was supposed to be hints on the Blu-ray disc that like he didn't die, that he wasn't sacrificing himself, or like he's still in the code somewhere or some shit. That was years ago now. That was nearly 10 years ago. And now they're doing Tron Ares. Now, as a Tron fan, I'm like, okay, I like Tron. Let's do something new and original, and let's do Tron again. Tron is a fun idea, especially, we were talking about this AI stuff. It's a cool idea. But Tron Ares stars Jared Leto. No thanks. No thanks. No thanks. So you're already off to a bad start because Jared Leto is ridiculous, and I can't take him seriously because he takes himself too seriously. Like, he's like after the Joker, he was kind of well respected as an actor before Joker, before his iteration of the Joker, and ever since then he's just been like crazy. And every time you see him out in public, he's still crazy, or he's like kind of super full of himself, and I just don't like that. And I know there is allegations against him. I don't know what those allegations are, but how does he keep being taken so seriously in Hollywood? Like, how does he keep getting work after Morbius? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? How does he do it? I don't know. But Tron Ares, and let's read here because this is I'm just seeing this part for the first. Oh my gosh. Oh. Finally, to cap off this roundup of D23's entertainment showcase was the reveal and first look at the third film in the Tron franchise, Tron Ares. Jeff Bridges is once again returning to the series in the world inside a computer mainframe. I don't know how, but okay. Co-starring alongside Bridges are Evan Peters, Greta Lee, and Jared Leto as the titular Ares, a highly sophisticated AI sent to the real world for an undisclosed mission. Oh man, this sounds like this. This sounds rough. This sounds rough. It was also revealed that Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's band Nine Inch Nails will be composing the film's soundtrack. They got big shoes to fill. Nine Inch Nails has got big shoes to fill. Now, here's the thing. Trent Reznor is really good. He's really good. So I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I think that this could be good as far as music, right? Because the Daft Punk soundtrack for Tron Legacy is one of the best film soundtracks like ever. So it's one of the top tier, one of the best soundtracks. So the soundtrack is better than the film itself. Don't get it twisted. Soundtrack's better than the film. But we'll have to see. We will have to see. Jared Leto plays Ares, a highly sophisticated AI. You know who's not listed here and should be? Sam Flynn. Sam Flynn. Garrett Hedlund, who played Sam Flynn. Why is Sam Flynn not in this? Olivia Wilde. Where's Olivia Wilde, who played Cora in Tron Legacy? Where's Tron himself? You know? Where's Bruce Boxleitner, huh? Where's Tron? So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but it comes out more than a year from now. Tron Ares hits theaters on October 10th, 2025. Okay. All right. Well, we shall see how it all plays out. We shall see how it all plays out. All right, so that's going to cover the majority of the D23 stuff as far as film announcements. Although there is one more thing. But wait, there's one more thing. I'm going to pull this back up one more time. Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Now, my friends, a lot of people have been ripping on this for some time, saying that Skeleton Crew is not going to be good. If you watch this trailer, you will see that it does not feel like Star Wars. And as a Star Wars fan, I actually welcome this show. Now, I hated The Acolyte, and I hated Ahsoka, and I'm so burnt out on Star Wars. I've already started taking my Star Wars collectibles down. I have. Here in my home, my Star Wars collectibles are coming down, being replaced by other things. I have to pick up new hobbies to replace all my Star Wars shit. Star Wars Skeleton Crew is Goonies in space. It looks like it's going to be Goonies in space. The kids look like they're going to be kid actors. Jude Law is a mysterious Force user, but they have a young Max Rebo, the little elephant kid. I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm willing to give it a chance because I am a fool and I don't know when enough is enough, right? But I'm willing to try it. And you know why I'm optimistic? Because there's been rumors that Lucasfilm does not like this show. There has been rumors that Lucasfilm is not a fan of Skeleton Crew. So if they don't like it themselves, do you know what that means for me? That means we may love it, my friends. That means it might be really fantastic. And I won't count it out yet. Yes, don't say Goonies. Goonies never say die. Okay? And Skeleton Crew, I mean, it's right in the name and it's in the trailer. Like they even what looks like a one-eyed Willy even in the trailer. Like it's kind of ridiculous, right? Hey, if Andor can be good, they're due for another good one to come out. Hey, look, I have not watched Andor yet, but everybody says Andor is great. I'm waiting for season 2. I'm watching it, the whole thing, when season 2 comes out so I can watch it straight through. All right. It's not like I'm not watching Andor. I have a reason. There's a motivation for not watching Andor. So uh, we will give it a chance, but we'll find out together because I'm going to cover it here. I'm going to cover the discussion here, and we'll see. We shall see. There's also the talk of the Mandalorian and Grogu film, which got a trailer. It looks boring, but that's a teaser trailer. Like, let them do their thing. It's still early out, so I don't want to comment on that yet because we don't know anything about it. We don't know anything about the story. We don't know anything about what they're doing. So time will tell on the Skeleton Crew. All right, you know what? While we're talking about Star Wars, let's jump over to Star Wars Jedi Survivor is coming back. And this time, it's moving to PS4 and Xbox One. Star Wars Jedi Survivor releases on PS4 and Xbox One. Why is this worth talking about? Well, because originally, a year ago, Jedi Survivor was released on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X as well as PC. This game experienced truly awful issues when it released. It did not run very well for many systems, many computers. And as far as I know, I believe that many of those issues have since been worked out. I, thankfully, did not experience any issues when I played this game on the PS5 on release day. I experienced no issues. I got it in the mail, had no problems with it. And I love this game. I love the story of this game. I love the previous game, Fallen Order. Now, why is it important that it's coming out on PS4 and Xbox One? Well, it actually means a few things. Firstly, it needs to make more money. This means that EA and maybe even Lucasfilm is not happy with these. They're not happy with the sales coming from the PS5, PC, and Xbox versions, which means that they need to downgrade it and put it out on the lower consoles, the older consoles, to try and increase sales volume. You know, normally normally we see it the other way around. Normally a game comes out for the PS4 and then it was to be upscaled, but time has passed and the PS5 has been out since 2020. And we're seeing now 4 years into the PS5's lifespan. I mean, the PS5 came out in 2020, 4 years into the PS5's lifespan, and we're seeing games still getting downgraded to the older consoles. That says a couple of things. That says, one, this game did not sell well enough on the PS5 and Xbox to satisfy the EA management. But it also means two things. The second thing being PS5 didn't sell very well. PS5 did not sell well enough. Now, we've heard that from Sony. We've heard from Sony that they're not happy with the console sales, right? And that they think that they already have to start preparing for a PS6. It's only been 4 years. The PS4 is now over 10 years old. So that's 10-year-old technology. The Nintendo Switch is older than that. Right? So you think it came out in 2013, the PS4. It's 11 years old very soon. It's an interesting talking point, and I don't think enough people are really pointing this out. Even yesterday I saw that they're re-releasing Doom and Doom 2, like the original old school games. And they're being released on what system? PS4. Well, it's because they can just it'll just run on PS5 because it has backwards compatibility. Like it'll just run. If you put a PS4 disc into a PS5, it'll run no problem. But that is interesting that after 4 years, there are only 16 exclusive games on the PlayStation 5. And there's even less than that, I believe, on the Xbox because Xbox has Game Pass. So there's a lot of information in the gaming world. There's a lot of things floating around. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of studios going under. There's a lot of games that get shelved. There's a lot of games that get greenlit that shouldn't get greenlit. We are watching the infrastructure of the video game world is radically and rapidly changing, and we're witnessing it in real time. I think it's gotten too big to sustain itself. I think it costs far too much money to make games now, and they're not profitable. That triggers us to move into the next story, which is Alan Wake 2 has not broken even yet. Where is my link? Where is my link? My assistant is going to be fired for not providing me with my link. I am my own assistant. I don't have an assistant. Alan Wake 2, give me my link from my notepad, and bada boom. Share this tab instead. Alan Wake 2 is still not profitable for Remedy nearly 1 year later. Alan Wake 2 came out in October of 2023, my friends. I bought the deluxe version on day one. A few months ago, it was announced that they're doing physical versions of this game. It was digital only for a while, and that was supposed to reduce costs. So now we're all this time later, and Alan Wake 2 has not turned a profit. How much money did this game cost to make? Well, we know it cost a lot. We know that it cost a lot. We also know that Epic Games put up quite a chunk of change to get this made, which also made it an exclusive on the Epic Games Store. And so now we're seeing that their strategy to break even on Alan Wake 2 is to first put out the physical editions, but then also try to hedge the bet of releasing another DLC this holiday season. It's very likely to come out in October. We played through Night Springs, the first DLC here on this channel, and we're going to play the second one when it comes out, likely later this year, just so that they could hopefully turn a profit by the time the game has been out for a full year. Okay, well, this is an interesting idea here. So from Words 789, I think they should have went physical from the get-go. I think they would agree with you now. See, they expected that if we just post the game out online and it's download only, well, that's going to save us a ton of money on overhead for the production of discs and boxes. Yeah, it'll save you money, but will it turn a profit? I don't know. People really like the physical editions. People like to pick stuff up in stores. So you got to keep that in mind. And should it have been on Steam? Well, yes, Alan Wake 2 should have been on Steam, but that was part of the exclusivity that Epic Games got for helping to fund Alan Wake 2. So it would only go on the Epic Games Store. Something to keep in mind. Close to recouping costs, but not profitable yet. Could you imagine putting all that money into making this stuff and you don't make any money on it at all? Millions and millions of dollars to make Alan Wake 2 and you don't make any money. How it fascinates me because I have to think, how do you make more games when you spend all your money making one and then it doesn't make any profit? Like you don't get anything back on it to reinvest into your next project. You know what I mean? It's like I'm fascinated. I would love to see their books. Not that I think they're doing anything wrong. I want to know how this works. Or are video games turning into Netflixes? Are video games just turning into streamers, like streamer productions where everything is done on debt? Netflix is in insane amounts of debt. All of the movies and projects on Netflix are done with loans. They're all done on loans. So it's really fascinating to me from a business perspective to see, how does this work? How does this work? Alan Wake 2 still hasn't been profitable for the developers nearly 1 year after its launch. While the game has recouped most of its development and marketing expenses, it's yet to make any profit. The game is getting a physical launch later this year, which might lead to additional sales. I pre-ordered it at the most expensive tier twice now. I have bought this game twice for a couple of reasons. One, I love Remedy. I love Remedy games. Two, I love Alan Wake, and I loved Alan Wake 2. I can't help but wonder, is there a beard under the beard? It's stubble. It's just a little bit of stubble. I mean, sometimes, but I don't often have a beard. Like I don't normally wear a beard. I go with the stubble. I'm a stubble guy. Can I run my household finances that way? Oh, just on copious amounts of debt? This is not a financial advice show. I am not a financial advisor, but I will offer you common sense to not be debt prevalent. Maybe that's the word, right? I would not lean on debt unless you have to. Alan Wake 2 was one of last year's most well-received titles, and it was also a fast-selling release from Remedy Entertainment, selling over 1 million copies just a few months after launch. That blows my mind. That blows my mind. This game sold over 1 million copies, and it hasn't broken even. Why? Over 1 million copies is a lot of sales. How much did this game cost? You know what I mean? Like, that's insane. Despite these encouraging results, the game was not profitable. As of Remedy's latest report confirms that this is still the case as Alan Wake 2 approaches its first anniversary. Why it matters. Alan Wake 2 had a lower budget than most AAA releases. This makes it even more surprising that the game was less of a financial success than expected. Okay, so good. It's not just me that's freaking out about this. This makes no sense. Comments by CEO. In the second quarter of 2024, revenue increased 16% from a year ago to 10.3 million euro. Development fees increased from the comparison period due to higher development fees for Max Payne 1 and 2 remake. Royalties consisted mainly of game sales of Control and Alan Wake Remastered. All right, so that's good. So Alan Wake Remastered and Control are still generating money, which is good because a lot of games fall off. I mean, I bought Control after Alan Wake 2 physical just so I had a physical version, but I already had a digital version. I haven't played Control yet. I might do that on stream one day. Alan Wake 2 did not yet generate royalties. In the second quarter, operating loss was 3.2 million euro, improving by 1.6 million euro for the comparison period. Wow. Yeah, this is a really good point. There's 2 points on here I want to talk about. What's funny is that I have more free games from the Epic Game Store than I'll ever play in the rest of my life. Same. I do too. Actually, on the computer I'm on now, I don't even have Epic Games installed, but I do have a lot of the free games. From Scott here, I feel like Alan Wake 2 was too niche for most people, just like the originals, and it didn't interest a lot of people. You want to talk about Alan Wake 2? Let's talk about Alan Wake 2. So here's the problem that Alan Wake 2 had. Firstly, the original game came out on the Xbox 360. Alan Wake 1 was an Xbox 360 exclusive because Microsoft was funding and owned part of the license on Alan Wake. So Microsoft had a stake in the process of creating Alan Wake. It didn't sell nearly as well as Microsoft wanted. Microsoft wanted this to be a hit, an instant hit like Fable or Gears of War, right? They wanted it to be, Alan Wake was a Microsoft exclusive. They wanted to nail it, knock it out of the park, and it didn't. It did really well, but it didn't do enough by Microsoft standards, and it wasn't nearly as popular. Also, the game was criticized for being not that, great. It was not that great. I love it. I have a fondness for it, but even as I play the remasters time and time again, and I'm looking forward to playing it again myself, the first game is not by any means a perfect game. There is a lot of flaws in Alan Wake 1. I love it, but it's flawed. Okay, so it didn't sell very well up to Microsoft standards. Fast forward all these years, Remedy finally gets the license back, the license agreement back from Microsoft. Wonderful. That means they can make Alan Wake 2. And then they spend copious amounts of money making a sequel game. For years, they hinted at Alan Wake 2 inside other games like Control and Quantum Break. There was references to Alan Wake that, oh no, this all exists in the Remedy verse. Everything is part of the Remedy verse, which is really cool. I like that. I like that idea of tethering the games together and making sure all of them have satisfying conclusions in their own way, right? It's like, here's an isolated story that performs into its own story. And then outside of that, it's also connected to our other games. So you have a motivation to buy our other games too, which is great. But now you look almost all these years later, all this time has passed. A lot of people forgot about Alan Wake. A lot of people forgot about it. And I think maybe not enough people bought the remaster when the remaster came out. The remaster went into bargain bin and discount pricing extraordinarily quickly. Now, for me, behind me here, behind my green screen, I have the 360 Collector's Edition. I bought the Collector's Edition. And then I bought the game for $40 on the Epic Game Store when it came out on the Epic Game Store. And then I have it again on my PlayStation. Like, I'm one of those super loyal fans that buys everything Remedy puts out. But there's not enough of me purchasing this stuff to make people, to keep that interest factor going, right? So we get to Alan Wake 2's release. And I said to the friends of mine who are interested in Alan Wake like myself, I said, I hope this is the finale. I hope this is the end. They shouldn't make another one. They shouldn't end this with hints of sequels, because there's no way this game's going to make money back, because it's been too long and there's been too many problems along the way. There's been too many problems along the way. And then we get Alan Wake 2, and while I did love it, I will criticize it for its flaws. And Alan Wake 2 is not a perfect experience by any means. It's really good, and I really love it. But more than half the game, you're not even playing as Alan Wake in his own damn sequel. You're playing as Saga Anderson. Like, why? Why did you... And I like Saga. It's like, I don't have a problem with Saga. I don't have a problem with Saga's story. But why isn't it in its own damn game? Why is Alan Wake 2 replaced? Like, why is Alan Wake replaced in Alan Wake 2? It's a fair point. You know, you can like the characters, but then be like, why did they do it this way? And they hedged their bet that they would get a third game. And maybe they will get a third game. Eventually, this game will make its money back. But I gotta think, if I'm the leadership team on Remedy, why am I why would I be funding these things that are such big gambles, such big risks? So that's something to keep in mind. That is something to absolutely keep in mind. Thank you for that message. It's a good message. So, okay, so Alan Wake is coming out on the PS4 and the PS5. I believe it's PS4 as well. I think it's PS4 as well. And I got the special collector's box. Let's see. What is... I do believe it is... I want to be confirmed on that it's PS4. Physical release should help with sales. It doesn't say here. Some of these articles are annoying. All right, let's talk about something that's fun. Let's talk about something that is fun. Some of you might be aware of when I say, or some of you may have an emotional response when I say the word Beanie Babies. Beanie Babies. Do you remember those little plush toys that they were like super collectible for a short amount of time back in like the 90s? Well, there's always been a hype like Beanie Babies. For a while, it was Funko Pops. And even still, there's still that Funko Pop bobblehead community hype, right? Some of those are still worth a fortune. Well, the Regal and AMC movie theaters are trying to get in on that collector's hype with popcorn buckets. Now, many of you know about popcorn buckets, and you know about this hype already, that they've been making these special popcorn buckets. The one to really hit the internet airwaves was the Dune popcorn bucket for its silliness, and then the Wolverine popcorn bucket with Deadpool and Wolverine. And so I want to share here. Here are just some of the popcorn buckets that you can purchase right now from the Regal website, right? So we've got the Ghostbusters Ghost Trap from Frozen Empire. We've got the Deadpool Baby from Deadpool and Wolverine. This is a popcorn bucket. We've got a tin, what looks like a tin, popcorn tin for Frozen Empire. A Minion, one of the Minions. Anger from Inside Out 2. And an explosive from Borderlands, popcorn bucket. You know what's not on here? The Wolverine popcorn bucket. You know what else isn't on here? The Alien Romulus popcorn buckets. Now, I went to the theater a couple times this weekend, past few days, because I've been doing the movie reviews on this channel. And I saw sitting there, because I've been going to different theaters around my area trying to find a good one that I actually like. A lot of the theaters in the Raleigh area are not good. In the North Carolina area, they're very disappointing. They smell like mold. Like, you walk in, you're like, ooh, that does not smell fresh at all. Does not smell fresh at all. So you walk in, and I go up to the concession to get my ticket. I have the Regal Unlimited thing. That's what I've been using for to go to the movies. It's only valuable if you like going to the movies as much as I do. I love going to the movies, like sitting in the theater, the aesthetic of being in the theater. I love it. I just wish the movies were better. So for me, it's worth it. So I go, and I'm at the concession getting the ticket, and I look to my left, and it's like a movie. I swear my vision was like a movie, just panning down, like panning to the left. And I see sitting there a giant alien head. This alien head. I see this alien head sitting there. And I said, "Are you selling those?" And the guy said, "Yeah, I think we got a few left." I'm like, "Can I take one of those now? Can I? Yes, I want those now." And what was funny is I got this. I got the popcorn bucket. This is a cheap ass piece of plastic. If I dropped this gently, it would break. This is so, like, maybe you can hear like how hollow this is. Yikes, right? So if I pop the head open on this, you can kind of see it's where the popcorn goes. Ooh, echo. Right? The manager was standing next to me when I started this conversation and then told me that, "Oh yeah, we got those in on Wednesday. We sold out." Or no, we got those in on Wednesday, and I think there's people scalping those. I said, "Why? What makes you say that?" "Well, the same guy came back and bought 4 more of them." I'm like, "Oh, okay." This was $40. This is $40. I mean, you saw here, I shared the screen here. The that little Deadpool baby is $45. It's like, these things aren't cheap and they're crap, but they're collectibles. So Regal and AMC are playing this game of, well, we can't make sales on the movies, but we can create a scalper market with these popcorn buckets. And here's what's better. That's not even the only one. But yes, yes, absolutely. Is your favorite Disney princess right here? This is a Disney princess. The alien is a Disney princess now because Disney owns it and they're princesses. There's an alien queen, which means there's alien princesses. I can't believe you paid $40 for that trash. Oh, hang on. Firstly, it's a collectible item. Secondly, I have a discount because I have the Regal Unlimited. So I spent less than that. You know what's better? You know what? I'm going to one-up it. I'm going to one-up it right now. I got 2 because there's a second one. There's 2 There's 2 buckets. They don't tell you about this one until you're standing there and you're looking at it. Look at it. It's the face hugger jumping out of the tube. And better yet, here, let me see if it lights up. You could kind of tell it lights up. Here, I'm going to take this down. You could kind of see that it's all green. It's lit up with green, right? There's 2 of them. 2 of them. So yeah, it's I have a lot of fun with these. So I walked in, I see these, I'm like, I'm putting those in my car. I'll be right back. And yeah, you are absolutely right, Michael. This one does look better. This one does look better. This is a way better like item because it doesn't, and it's also like this is worth it. This is heavy. This has got weight to it. It lights up. This other one over here, this is just this is like super ridiculously cheap plastic. This is super thin, super crappy plastic. But I did want to talk about this because what's wild to me is how this is turning into an online commodity that people are vying after and then jacking up the price and selling like the Wolverine one where it's just his mouth open is going for $80. It's going for $80 on like eBay, on reselling sites. So it's something to keep in mind. And I'm going to be paying attention to it more. I think that there is going to be something else coming out with, oh gosh, there's one of the upcoming movies. Oh yes, the Captain America. I'm interested to see the Red Hulk, Harrison Ford Red Hulk head. I think that'll be interesting to see. It'll be yeah, no, I had to get them both. I had to get both of them. Had to get them both. Because I'm an Alien fan. I love Alien. And we're going to be doing so this is a good time to say I am planning on doing an Alien stream, game stream here as part of a what I would like to do is to do a video game platinum run. I'll explain that in a second, of Alien Isolation to tie in with the movie. So I might need your help to do this because that means I'm going to be going in blind. I have not played Alien Isolation from start to finish. There is a mini game version for you to play with friends of like Escape the Alien. That is the only version of Alien Isolation that I've played. Alien Isolation is a PlayStation game. It's a horror game where an alien basically chases you. We're going to do it on stream. Because I want to do a platinum run of Alien Isolation to tie in with the movie. I know that's going to be difficult. I know it's going to be hard. We're going to do it together. And I want to do the campaign on stream, and then I'll do all the cleanup stuff on my own. I'm planning on that. I don't have a day yet, but I will put it as like a countdown of at least 24 hours from when I find out what time or what day we could do the stream. And we're going to try as best as we can to just do it in one run. Like we're going to do the Alien game in one run, and then eventually I'll take it and turn it into a video. Like we'll post it, the whole thing as a proper video in a platinum run. Yeah. Isolation is so long. Yeah, I think it's the kind of thing I'm going to have to plan ahead of time and have an entire game plan and know all of like the tips and tricks of where to go and what to do. So here's what's interesting. I'm actually working on right now a supercut of my Borderlands platinum run. I'm hoping to get it out either tonight or it's going to premiere at 10 a.m. tomorrow Eastern time of my Borderlands platinum run. I just did this. I just finished it yesterday, finished my platinum run, and I did it. And I'm turning it into a video explaining my process for how I do it. So I'm a gamer. You guys know I'm a gamer. I'm a nerd, obviously. But I'm also a business owner IRL. Okay, I'm a business owner in real life, which means I while being a gamer, I do not have 100 hours to sink into a game anymore. I just don't. Right? So, but what I want to do is I want to play games and I want to complete games with I want the platinums in a lot of games. I'm not interested in multiplayer games. I don't play Fortnite. I don't play Call of Duty. But I do play single player games and I like to play video games. And I also like hunting for the platinum trophies. So What I figured was I'm going to do it with the Borderlands tied into the movie, and I did, and I recorded it, and it was interesting to do it. And you'll have to see. There's a lot of tips and tricks I got to experience there, but I'm going to use every glitch, hack, opportunity that comes up. Every like go here, press this to get that, to like kind of pass the time faster, to beat the clock, is what we're going to do. I wouldn't say it's a speed run, but it is definitely going to be a let's just do this as fast as we can and make the most out of it. Yes, trophy hunting is real. I got 30 plus platinums. I have 19 right now, I think. I'm going to pull it up because I have I use the PSN profiles website to track mine. And I've got 45 games played on this account, 11 completed. But I don't know if that's how many platinums I have. Oh, 20th. I have 20 platinums. I have 20 platinums right now. And the last one I have is the here, I'll share my screen so you guys can see. This is my oh, now it took me off screen. Now it made it not big enough. I'm gonna switch. There we go. Okay, so I've got Borderlands, I just got the platinum on. Kingdoms of Amalur, I've been working on every so often to get through. And what's kind of crazy is over here, the Ultimate Alliance game. I did that last holiday or through the holidays. Finished up all of those. And then, yeah, if I look down here, milestones, my 20th platinum was 19 hours ago. It was also my fastest, which is great. That was really cool. And my latest. So this is kind of a spoiler. This is kind of a spoiler to my video. Like, oh, we're going to do the platinum run. Well, now you know I finished it. But I invite you to watch that video when it drops. I need your help with the video views and stuff. So if you are a supporter of what we do, make sure you watch the videos. You know, it takes a lot of time to do these. But all right, let's see. What else do we have? We talked about the games, talked about Jedi Survivor. I want to talk about there's a new AI movie coming out. And I'm going to share my screen. I want to see if maybe we can watch this together. If I go full screen with this, and then if I switcheroo, will that play? Let me know if you guys can hear this. A Sony movie called Afraid, which is an AI movie. And it's they're putting these little almost Amazon-like Alexa bugs. See, I'm trying not to use the name, but Alexa devices all over the house, and this is intended to be a thriller horror film. Like we just how many movies are we gonna get that is like this? Like this is so unoriginal now. I saw this and I'm like, we just got Megan last year, and that was at least it was about a doll with the little girl. Like it was a little more nuanced, perhaps. This is it's just like Smart House. How many times have we seen an AI horror film that's built into the house? It's like this is not going to perform well. Me like another mom, scared face. She has the scared face throughout the whole trailer. From Blumhouse, producers of Megan, The Purge, and The Black Phone. 3 good movies. 3 good movies. What's this? It's just a Megan remake.
I have to go to bed. School day tomorrow. I used to get points just for.
You know what would be interesting? I'm going to pause it here. It would be interesting if this movie was like tied into Megan. Like if this was a spiritual connected sequel somehow to Megan. That would be interesting. And what's going to happen? Oh, yes, the AI is going to murder someone. Yes, we haven't. That's funny. I'd like to show you some videos, and she shows the kid explosions. Like bomb explosions. Like that's kind of funny.
Funny?
As if the kid hasn't been playing Fortnite for the last 5 years. It made funny faces on the phone. This feels like Megan meets uh, uh, The Purge, is what. Come on. I had to share that one because I saw that in the theaters the other day, and I wanted to talk through it. It looks terrible. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. It's gonna be great, and by great I mean awful. So that is a lot of fun. My friends, we have talked through quite a bit today. We've gone through a lot of stuff. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you haven't yet, please like this stream. If you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. We are going to wrap up our stream for today. And like I said, I'm looking forward to doing an Alien stream with you live on air. We're going to play it blind. We're going in blind. I've never done it before, so we're going to do it together. That'll be very interesting. Probably watch me get terrified. You know, I really kind of stay away from horror movies, actually, but I do love Alien. I do love Alien. So that's going to be very good. That is where we are going to tie things up today. I need to go back to editing my Borderlands video when that drops. Please go check it out, and that'll be really great. Until next time, I invite you to create, innovate, inspire. My friends, may the force be with you. And until next time, take care, right? Cancel Disney Plus. Do that. There you go.